Investigators, Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy. Welcome along to episode 254 of Spy Curious. G'day, Jack. Great to see you from cold Tasmania, mate. It's not going to get any better for the next couple of months. Then it'll get windy. Great to see you, everybody. Please check in and say hello. It's always nice to see who's watching. Casey had an emergency with an injured son at volleyball today, so she can't make it, unfortunately, but she said to say good day to everybody and she hopes you're well. G'day, Brian. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for checking in. G'day, Nasreen. Great to see you. Two in a row. Mate, you can go and watch the replay of the uni. Don't miss it. Hi, Amber. Hope you enjoyed the Investigations Uni today. If you enjoyed Investigations Uni, let us know, please, people. Thanks for checking in. Great to see you. We've got a lot to get through today, but I think I'll get through it quite quickly. First of all, and most importantly, for those of you that won one of our Mental Health Award medals, there they are, and I've finally got the first three. There's Chris's. See, he's got his name on it. Okay. That's inscribed on it. That's what we've been waiting for. So the first three will go out this week to Sharon, Chris, and Evan, and then the other ones will follow on later. It's taken a while, but gee, I'll tell you what, they come up well, and it really, really looks good. So there's Chris saying g'day, and there's Chris's medal with Chris's name on it for the Mental Health Award. Good on you, Chris. Congratulations, mate. And there's the back of the medal. There it is there. So look at that. It came really well. Really pleased with these. Earlier in Investigations Uni, I was talking about a friend of mine, Bob McDougall, and known Bob for quite a long time. G'day, Chantel. Great to see you. We had a class in security risk management some 20 years ago. Bob was in the class. And we're talking about mental health. And he was talking about his time as a detective in the New South Wales Police. And he said to me, Mike, what happened in the police was if you went to an incident that was bad, you went back to the station, made your report, and they gave you a bottle of beer. That's what he said. He said if you went to an incident that was really bad, went back to the station, made your report, and they gave you a carton of beer. That was 1990s, 2000 mental health support in policing. Now, hopefully that's changed. G'day, Chantel. Great to see you. Yeah, it's pretty. Jack, you won one too, but I've still got to get your name inscribed on it, mate. So it's coming. It's a process. It's worth waiting for. It's going to look good in the shed, on the trophy shed, on the fridge. So, yeah, I'm really proud of these. We nobody else out there is doing anything in investigation industry associations to support mental health. And you guys are participating in that and sharing your experiences of how you deal with, the stress of your work and all that sort of thing and switch off. And why not recognise it? It's great. I'm really pleased. I didn't think anyone would participate in it. It's costing me a fortune. Stop participating. Yeah, I reckon you would too, Chris. You're pretty good at it, mate. G'day, Marita. Great to see you. Thanks for checking in. And that brings us, Marita, it's just reminded me, this is so important, people. Look, I cannot overemphasise this. If you live in Victoria, just like Marita does, okay? If you live there, Seeker Group, they want you to apply for them and do investigations in work cover investigation, workers' comp, okay? They have vacancies there. If you apply today, you'll be starting next Tuesday, all right? Get in touch with Rob at the Seeker Group. Google it. There it is, the Seeker Group in Melbourne. Get in touch with them. I won't go to that one just yet. I had another one. Here we go. Pinkertons. They want you to start as soon as possible. Workers' compensation investigations at Pinkertons and other investigations as well. They are flat chat. Alex has just come on board. Tim's on board. Thea and everybody else there has got support. It's a great team at Pinkertons. They're launching their national system in a few weeks' time. I hope to be there. Might even report live from that one. Okay, but Pinkertons want you working for them in Melbourne. And people, if you're just like Marita, who said hello, and you're in Victoria as well, sure fact, I want to speak to you as well. So sure fact, Pinkertons and the Seeker Group all want you to apply for work there if you're an Australian Security Academy graduate and you have a Victorian licence. None of those three, they're going to say no to you. Okay, get in touch with them. No, you've got to have your licence first, Nesri. Must have a licence. Don't apply for anything unless you're licensed. G'day, Jamie. Great to see you, mate. Hope you're feeling better. Hope your recovery's going well, buddy, and you're back on board. So that's all happening job-wise down in Melbourne. Couple of fraudsters in Queensland this week reported that the bakery has lost $47,000 to one person, allegedly, and a disability worker who we spoke about a few weeks back. He reckons he didn't do it, and they've done the wrong thing by him, and we'll wait and see on the outcome of that. They might have been a little bit premature with charging him with what they charged him with. I'd find that pretty unusual, but these are police cases. They're not private investigator cases. So private investigator cases, good ones that happened on, the real beauty that happened on the Gold Coast this week. This is load shift and a half. You don't get these every year. This is an every 10-year event. So Gold Coast Police were called to ship a driver in Coomera at 1:10 a.m. after a bridge girder fell off the back of a truck. Here they are the next morning at daylight, which would be hours after that girder fell off. Means it hasn't got back on and it hasn't been shifted by the cranes they sent in to sort it out. And this is what it looked like. That bridge girder has come off the semi-trailer. The trailer at the back there. You can see the lights in front of it where they got that light system in the dark at night so they could light it up and see how they're going to get this thing out of the way. And this is another view of it. That's called a roadblock. So the load has shifted. The insurance companies are going to be fighting about this for the next 4 years. The cost of the recovery, the costs to the lateness of the construction of the Coomera Connector Highway. All this is going to come into it. It's going to be negligence and liability. Who loaded the girder on the truck? Who instructed the truck driver how to drive? What speed was the truck driver going at? What happened? What caused the accident? Was the road maintained properly by the council or the state government? All of this is going to come into it. It's going to cost a fortune. How they got that back on something else and moved it, I don't. It's a train wreck of massive proportions. And this is what you will actually investigate. Little old you as a licensed private investigator. It's a wow. It really is. Doesn't happen every day. And you see them, moving those propellers for the wind farms and the towers for the wind farms. That doesn't happen. And if you go back and have a look at this, this is what got me. It's just got my investigator mind whirling. It's come off a bend into a straight. All right, there's the straight. You can see the bend where it's come off. But something's happened as it's come around that bend. It wasn't loaded correctly, or the driver was speeding. I've got no idea. They're all guesses. So the accident reconstructionists from the police will go there. And no one was injured, so they don't have to be involved. But I would say they would have got involved in this from a safety point of view. WorkSafe Queensland would be involved in it. Earlier on today, I talked about doing police interviews for insurance claims over in Investigations UNI. And the question we got was in relation to, oh, look at that, like Spy Curious, that's fantastic. Really, thanks for the question, Charlie. It was great, mate. Read with interest a few days about someone who wrote on a private investigator group page about the GIPA process with New South Wales. This is about interviewing police officers. and it's made me wonder what other acts, that sort of thing, I'll be involved in. Now, what I didn't tell people in uni, you will interview police, that's correct. You will interview detectives, that's correct. You'll interview ambulance, fire brigade, tow truck drivers, engineers, all sorts of fun stuff. You'll also interview WorkSafe investigators. Now, WorkSafe investigators come in a variety of different brands, like Heinz soup. Okay, so you got your common everyday stick up their ass WorkSafe investigator. You got your friendly, helpful, pragmatic WorkSafe investigator. And you got everything in between. And you'll interview them as well. Mostly they'll decline because they don't have to. There'll be some kind of report that they can refer to. And if there isn't, well, the investigation's ongoing and they can't talk to you, but you'll be instructed to. So keep that in mind. It's interesting if you ever get that opportunity, which is something I didn't mention in Investigations Uni today, which was neglectful of me. So a lot of private investigators gravitate to becoming WorkSafe investigators. They do. They go and study workplace health and safety, workplace inspection, diploma of workplace inspection or advanced diploma of workplace inspection, and they become workplace inspectors. And safety on construction sites, safety in chemical laboratories, safety in fuel production plants, it's all very important. Even in domestic building, it's important. And WorkSafe investigators investigate accidents, transport, the whole thing. It's not just limited to transport investigators. Yeah, that's you're absolutely right, Brian. We don't know. It happened in the dark. So I guess there'd be a video camera on that kind of truck that would be videoing a rear video of what's going on. There would be a camera inside the truck these days. So there's a whole range of things that could have happened, but they've hit that corner. And this is where you're going to get the investigate. There's going to be, this one was on a flat as far as I know. I don't know. I haven't been there, I haven't had a look. But it's going to be down a big hill with a big sweeping bend. That's where a truck and a load shift's going to happen. And it's a very dangerous place to go and do a scene inspection. If you have to go and do that, don't go out into the middle of the road at all, and don't go there at 1:10 in the morning when it's dark. But yeah, at first glance, that's what it does look like. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate that. So in Investigations Uni today, we looked at interviewing police officers, why we have to do that. If you're an Australian Security Academy graduate, you get access to that free, and you can go and have a look at that one. It's quite an interesting process. Every state is different. I think in Tasmania at one stage, you had to get permission to do it, and the sergeant had to be present. And I did quite a few police interviews in Tasmania and booked them, and they said, yeah, the sergeant will be present. But the sergeant was like doing sergeant stuff somewhere else in the police station and never came to the interview with the police officer I was interviewing. The police officers aren't in trouble. They've just got notes made at the time when they attended that accident scene 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago. So it's quite a process to get to the actual interview. And I'm glad that question was asked. And it all arose out of this Facebook post where Lucas, Australian Security Academy graduate, asked this question about GIPA in New South Wales. And it was replied to by 4 highly intelligent general insurance investigators and CTP liability investigators who do it in New South Wales and Queensland. So you can rely on the information if you go and have a look at that post. And the question was about how long does it take. On their website, they say 20 days. In the experience of the investigators, it takes 28 days, and there are workaround plans if you can get to them. Other things that have happened, and if you're really keen on finding out more about GIPA, you can go into the insurance-related police event reports and stuff. Just Google this in relation to the police, and there's the price of it, $30 for each one. Google it. You'll find out all about it. But the big thing is it'll be in your case management system under your processes, policies and procedures for general insurance, CTP liability, police interviews. General insurance, stolen motor vehicles and accidents for police interviews. It'll be there, what to do and how to go about it. And if you don't know and it's not there, go and have a look at Investigations UNI. This week they announced the Australian Government Security Vetting Agencies, who are the providers. And there used to be 30 providers. You've seen that on other videos shown on this program. They've now got it down to 6 providers who are doing the vetting for people going into the Defence Force from Australia and for people who want to immigrate to Australia. So our government currently is looking at growth through population growth. That's the way they're doing it. And 146,000 people are allowed to enter Australia each year, and their backgrounds are checked by Barrington's Corporate Risk. Cogent Business Solutions, Omni Executive Proprietary Limited, Mitchell Personnel Proprietary Limited, Cirrus Consulting Proprietary Limited, and Staff Check Proprietary Limited. They are the providers of security vetting services around Australia. In Victoria this week, the Victorian government has paid Butch, quote, that's his nickname, they didn't put his real name in, the highest ever non-court settlement for a child sex abuse survivor. Back in this series, we have looked how to investigate historical abuse claims. And you might think, oh, how do you go about that? That's 20 years ago. It's back in the 70s. How am I going to start? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? But you're an investigator. You can do it. And what they did, they've gone and heard this guy's claims over the years, and the government's denied it. And this week he finally got paid out on it. Now there's a picture of him as a child. And what had happened was his father was a prison officer. It was a low security prison area. Used to take his son to work with him occasionally. Son would go off and play, bump into this prisoner, and the prisoner would sexually abuse him. So that's how it happened in a correctional facility. The guy who did the abuse was named Curtis. So he was sentenced for that over the years ago, but the compensation was awarded this week. That's a very large sum of money. And whether that's justice or not, I don't know. Here's some of the recent Victorian court payouts. A state ward sexually tortured by her foster dad for a decade got a $1 million settlement for the Victorian government. I don't think that'd ever compensate. A man abused by a pedophile priest, Gerald Risdale, was a $1.5 million settlement from the government. Geelong College, so whether that's the boarding school or the actual college, school volunteer abused a person, and they received a $2.63 million payout. Former altar boy who was sexually abused by a priest has been awarded almost $2 million back in 2022. And a woman placed in an abusive foster home received $2.6 million. So they're just Victorian ones. Where does that money come from? I don't know whether they can claim that back on insurance at the time. It's going to come out of some kind of government funding for that. I don't think it'd ever compensate. So that's just news from this week. As I said before, there's Chris's Mental Health Award medal. You can see his name engraved on the bottom of it. So that's going out this week. It comes in a beautiful bulletproof and bomb-proof box. It's got the Australian Security logo on one side, and there's Chris's name on the other side. So that's Chris's award. That's his one. Sharon's won one. Evan's won one. Several other people have too, but they'll be following on in the coming weeks. It's something to look forward to, people in the post. A surveillance operative is wanted by ProCare for Western Australia. Keep that in mind. I've got some other jobs I've just got to flip over to. Bear with me. Field agents are wanted by Cat B. She's advertised that on our social media at the Australian Security Academy. Factual and surveillance investigators for desktop investigations are wanted by Morris J. Kerrigan and Associates. NDIS investigators are wanted in Brisbane, and you just about say everywhere else around Australia. So they're vacancies that are currently out there on Seek at the moment. Quantum Corp are looking for investigators everywhere in Australia, New South Wales and Queensland. That's Pinkertons who are looking for investigators. Get in touch with me if you're looking for a job at Pinkertons, people. There's vacancies everywhere. The managers, look, 4 senior owners of investigation agencies this week have been in touch with me looking for investigators. You can see these jobs on our Australian Security Academy Private, Investigator Corporate and Government Investigator jobs page. So that's where you go to see who's offering work. There's no such thing as a job vacancy in investigations. The vacancies exist all the time. If you have an Australian Security Academy Certificate 3 in Investigative Services, not a crap cheap one from the police course that's policey, they've already employed those people and never employed them again, right? You want an Australian Security Academy Certificate, right, and a licence. I just said that on episode 264 of Spy Curious, just to reinforce it. So they're desperately looking for factual investigators, New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. And I can add into the mix a little thing that came out of our Recton versus Davis a couple of weeks back. For those that watched the program on Investigations Uni, we deep dove into the issues around it. One of the issues that was highlighted by the claimant, not the respondent, but by the claimant, was there was a high turnover of investigators in Australia. That was her experience. Now, I don't doubt that her experience, right? I don't doubt it. None whatsoever. But recently, in the last year and a half, I introduced a program where if you are an Australian Security Academy graduate, you became a member of our industry association, AirLap, and had access to Investigations Uni every Friday, all the replays thereafter, as part of our CPD. What an amazing thing, okay? Doesn't sound like much. What that meant was the general insurers, the investigation agencies that do general insurance, realised very quickly that their investigators, their licensed investigators that work for them, were getting ripped off by industry associations, charging them $250 a year for membership, $50 a time to go to a webinar online, and $400 to go to a conference. The managers of the investigation agencies thought, well, when that all adds up, $800 a year, every year, they get ripped off because there's no continuity of their webinars. There's one conference that might go ahead if they get enough numbers, and there's, a few breakfasts every now and again with grumpy people who haven't got enough numbers there, don't even say hello to you when you go in because they're so disappointed with the shit event that they had, right? That's what bald, crappy old people do. But this is what they realised. Now, when I introduced AirLap, free membership for graduates of the Australian Security Academy, I got over 600 applications from past students involved in general insurance who just have to have industry association membership who wanted to take advantage of that offer. And they did. That says to me that students who graduated 20 years ago, 22 years ago, 19 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 years ago, are working in the industry for employers who've told them, you're an Australian security graduate student, we've got your qualification here on record, save yourself $800 a year, contact Mike and get your certificate. And they did. And I thought to myself, there can't be that high turnover. These people are making decent incomes. They're doing very rewarding, interesting, important work. And this week, I had another employer contact me for 2 more memberships. Another 3 past students contact me for 3 memberships. And it's ongoing. So it's actually the reverse of that high turnover. There is a stickability in this industry that nobody else sees except a single employer or me interacting with every significant employer in Australia. So when we told you a few years back, there's 7,600 investigators in Australia, right? And there were at the time, we got it from each licensing authority. We'll update that next year when they're talking to me again, when they get over their shitty little things they did wrong and I identified it and they don't talk to me at the moment, except for the Victorian Police and New South Wales Police, they do. All right, top regulators, top people there. And Western Australia, they're pretty good too, right? All the others got a bit of a problem at the moment. But the stickability and the industry continuity is very real. Now, some people it's not suited to, I get that, right? Some people just are not suited to real estate. Some people are not suited to being electricians. Some people are not suited to being accountants, teachers, or whatever. But if you want a job that's interesting, you want to do something different every day, you want a job that's quite rewarding and in high demand, being a private investigator is pretty good. And I just wanted to point that out, that yes, in Recton versus Davis, that may have been that person's experience at that time over the 1.5 years that person saw that. No doubt about it. It was in times of COVID, right in the centre of it. A lot of people left the industry during COVID and they're coming back to me now to become re-licensed and enter back into it again. And there is still a large demand for investigators. Like I say, Victoria, New South Wales or Queensland, Tasmania, Western Australia or South Australia, if you're looking for work and you're an Australian Security Academy graduate, I'll put you in touch with employers in every state that want to speak to you. Take advantage of that. I hope you've enjoyed watching Spy Curious today. I hope you enjoyed watching Investigations Uni earlier on. If you got something out of either of those 2 programs, do me a favour and give this one a like. Sorry Casey couldn't be here today. We were all geared up to give you some big news. We'll bring that to you possibly the week after next. There won't be a Spy Curious next week because we've got such a heavy training program. Casey, Pat and I next week, we won't have time to do anything else. We'll be back the week after that for episode 285. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your comments, everyone. Thanks, Nesreen, Jamie, Chris, Michelle, Chantel, Jack, everybody, Amanda. It's really great to have your support and know that somebody's watching and I'm not just talking to myself every week when I'm here. I'll go out in my usual way and we'll see you the week after next. Thanks for watching, people.